Have you ever noticed something strange about conversations? Sometimes the harder you try, the faster the moment dies. You walk in with good intentions. You start with, "Hey, how are you?" And before you even take a breath, the conversation evaporates. But then someone else enters the same room. They barely say 3 words, and suddenly the whole room shifts toward them. Why? It's not appearance. It's not charm. It's not charisma. It's presence. The rare ability to say less, but mean more. And hey, before we dive in, if you've ever wished people naturally gravitated toward you, or you've wondered why some conversations feel effortless while others feel forced, stay with me. What I'm about to share may change the way you communicate for the rest of your life. And if messages like this help you pause, breathe, and become a calmer version of yourself, feel free to subscribe. This space is all about becoming centered in a world that never stops shouting. Now, let's get to the heart of it. The ancient Stoics understood something we've forgotten. Real influence doesn't come from performing. It comes from being grounded, intentional, and present. Today, I'll walk you through 6 simple phrases and 1 mindset that can completely shift how people feel in your presence. Let's begin. 1. Tell me more about that. The door to connection. Here's where most people get it wrong. Imagine someone says, "I've been learning guitar." The average person, without realizing it, turns the moment into a competition. "Oh yeah, I played in college. You should try this method. I know a great teacher." Their intention might be connection, but what actually happens is disconnection. The spotlight moves away from the other person and onto you. Ego takes over, and the moment quietly closes. But watch what happens when you simply say, "Tell me more about that." And then you stop talking. You create space, something people rarely get. Suddenly they're not preparing to defend themselves or impress you. They're being heard. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so we can listen twice as much as we speak." Prompt 2. Listening isn't passive. Listening is presence. Listening is connection. People don't remember the ones who sound interesting. They remember the ones who make them feel interesting. And that feeling, it's magnetic. I don't know. The courage of honesty. Here's a hard truth. Most people are terrified of looking uninformed. So when someone asks for an opinion, they fake it. They ramble. They say something vague, hoping it sounds smart. But pretending always leaks through. And trust disappears. Now, imagine someone who simply says, "I don't know." Clean, calm, unapologetic. That person instantly gains credibility, because if they're honest about what they don't know, you can trust them when they say what they do know. Socrates said, "I know that I know nothing," not as false humility, but as clarity. Knowledge begins where arrogance ends. And ironically, the people most comfortable saying, "I don't know," are often the ones worth listening to. 3. That sounds hard. The language of validation. Here's where almost everyone unintentionally creates distance. When someone shares something painful, stress, heartbreak, failure, we rush to fix them. "You should try this." When that happened to me, I did that. Here's what you need to do. Even when we mean well, they hear judgment. The Stoics taught a different approach. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be tolerant with others, strict with yourself." In other words, don't rush to correct others. Hold space for them. And sometimes the most healing words you can say are, "That sounds hard." No fixing, no analyzing, no minimizing, just acknowledgement. And in that acknowledgement, something softens. People feel safe, seen, human. We always think people want solutions, but most of the time, they just want someone to sit with them in their storm. 4. The power of silence. The rare skill that commands respect. Silence scares people. A pause in conversation feels like failure. So they ramble, fill the space, overtalk. But silence isn't emptiness. Silence is authority. Watch someone who's comfortable with it. They don't rush. They don't interrupt. They don't fear pauses. And because they speak less, their words weigh more. Seneca wrote, "Silence is a lesson learned through much suffering." People who have faced themselves don't run from quiet. They know silence is full of intention, full of presence, full of truth. When you embrace silence, 1. You hear more clearly. 2. You think more deeply. 3. Your words become deliberate. And before you say a single word, people lean in. Silence is not the absence of communication. It is the foundation of meaningful communication. 5. I appreciate you. Seeing the person, not the task. Most people hear "thank you" all the time. It's polite. It's transactional. It acknowledges a task. "You fixed this. You helped me move. Thanks for doing that. But I appreciate you" goes deeper. It says, "I see your effort. I see your consistency. I see your character." Marcus Aurelius began every morning reflecting not on what people had done, but who they were, because recognizing virtue in others strengthens virtue in ourselves. Use this phrase sparingly, but sincerely. Because when it's real, it creates bonds that productivity never could. In a world obsessed with efficiency, being someone who sees others is revolutionary. 6. No. The boundary that protects your life. Here's a truth we all learn the hard way. Every yes carries a hidden no. No to your peace, no to your time, no to your own priorities. Most people say yes out of habit, out of guilt, fear, or social pressure. But the Stoics warned us. First, learn the meaning of what you say, then speak. Epictetus. People who respect themselves pause before answering. And when the answer is no, they say it clearly, without apology, without excuses. Boundaries don't push people away. They filter them. Those who only wanted your time will drift away. Those who respect your value will stay. And once your no becomes strong, your yes becomes meaningful. These 6 phrases, curiosity, honesty, validation, silence, appreciation, and boundaries, aren't tricks. They're reflections of character. You don't attract others by adding more noise. You attract them by removing what's unnecessary. Remove the urge to impress. Remove the fear of judgment. Remove the need to fill every silence. When you stop performing, people finally start paying attention, not to the role you're playing, but to who you really are. So, here's my challenge for you. Choose one of these 6 phrases and use it in the next 24 hours. Watch how it changes the way people respond to you and the way you respond to the world. And if this message shifted something in you, if it helped you breathe, pause, or see communication differently, I'd love for you to stay, subscribe, and grow with this community. Here, we learn to be calmer, more grounded, more present, one day at a time. You deserve conversations that feel meaningful and people who truly see you. Let's build that together.